Ashley and Catherine and Dula. We have a lot of people who are regulars, Nelson, and they come every day.
Right. You see that Dola? That Dola is a special one though.
Oh, I think I
Yeah.
remember that name. That looks really familiar to me.
Yeah, that's a Dola. That's a good one. Let's see. We
Hey,
got.
Miss Hattie. Hey, Jennifer. Both Jennifers. Hey, Marion. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Tandra and Tori and Tracy and Yvette. Welcome, welcome. So glad you guys can join us.
I'm trying
Just a
to
few
see.
more minutes. We're here for our daily webinar, staying strong and positive for ourselves and our children. This is our daily webinar we've been doing for just about a year now. Have we made, when was our anniversary day, Paul? Do you know?
I think it was
Was it,
last week.
it was last week? Woohoo! It's good stuff. And some of you guys have been hanging with us for an entire year at least, which is amazing, which is absolutely amazing. So I don't know how many more people we're waiting for. Great. So we're going to keep moving. So today I'm super excited because we have a fantastic guest with us. This is my friend and one of our certified training partners from Bichon from for our Parent Cafe Training Institute. This is Nelson Gabriel from Made Men in Kansas City, right?
Hey,
Kansas City,
Kansas,
Kansas.
Kansas. Yeah, get it right now. That's
And so I'm super excited to have him here with us today. He's going to be talking with us a little bit about serving through uncharted waters. I'm super excited. I've been trying not to ask him what this is so he can save all this wonderful energy for you today. So we're going to get started in just a second. Of course, we have to go through our beginning slides before we start. And it's going to be mainly conversation today. So I'm looking forward to today's presentation. So welcome, Nelson.
welcome. Thank you, Sarita.
So you guys know our ways to engage. If you don't, just a quick reminder, if you aren't talking, please put your phone on mute, although most of the time you guys are on mute anyway. If you're ready to comment or you have a question, you can raise your hand and we'll unmute you. And then you'll need to unmute yourself, of course, to make sure that we can hear you. Please be patient with us. Sometimes we have large numbers on here and we can't get to everybody. And feel free to type your comments in the group chat, but make sure it's going to all panelists and attendees and not just, if it goes to all panelists, it'll just come to us. So make sure that it has both of those populations so everybody can see what you're sharing. Thank you, Paul. And Paul is our tech person today. So thank you, Paul.
Thank you,
He's going to make sure
Paul.
we're great for today.
See,
And
he
then
make
our
me look. He
agreements.
make me look so beautiful, Sarita. See how beautiful he got me looking.
Yes,
Thank you,
you did a
Paul.
great job.
Thank you, Paul.
These are agreements, just like we do for all of our things. We'd like to create a safe space. We're going to ask you during today's presentation to speak from your own experience, use I statements, right? Golden rule, treat other people the way you want to be treated. And that is not giving advice, not judging people and those kinds of things. Just be in the space and enjoy the moment. And then full presence, please no multitasking. We're so happy that you came to join us today. We want you to get the most out of today's presentation and take away some great things. So do me a favor and just put in the chat that you agree with the agreement. So I know that this is a safe space. Yes, we have all of these professionals on here, these vets who have been with us agreeing. Thank you guys. And so from this point on, I think I'm going to turn it over to Nelson to share with us about serving through uncharted waters.
Hi,
Nelson.
welcome. Hey, thanks, Sarita. Welcome, everybody. Listen, I want you to keep your chat open because we're going to be very interactive today, and I'm going to need to see what you're saying since I can't look at your beautiful faces. So my name is Nelson Gabriel, and I serve as the president and the CEO of Made Men here in Kansas City, Kansas. Made Men started in 2012 as an idea. My son and I were sitting in the living room trying to figure out what it is that we could do for him to help me to redeem myself in the world today. And Made Men came into being. And I asked God, what is it that you wanted me to do? And he led me to Genesis 1:26 and 27. For those of you all who are Bible readers, Genesis 1:26, 27 says, and God said, Let us make man in our own image and after our own likeness. Verse 27 spills over and says that, and he made them both male and female. So made men, people ask me all the time, what does that mean? It means that we're made in the image of Christ. And if you look at our logo in the background, you'll see that made is black. We were made out of the dirt, and men is red because we're covered by the blood of Christ. It's our witness in as an organization to the community in sharing our message of hope to people. Made Men started as a project, as a funding information network. And a funding information network is a organization that partners with the Foundation Center out of New York. And we wanted to get resources to people because our mission was that we wanted to help people by connecting them to sustainable resources. We saw our community striving and falling apart in different ways, and we were trying to get people to work together and come together. So we wanted to be that organization that helped individuals to do that. And so we became this information network. We had workshops, we had people coming in, we were teaching people about scholarships and grants and different things like that. And that's how we started. And then it matriculated into the fact that, you know, being a funding information network, and I'm just talking to you just like I'll be talking on the street. Let me stop right here. Today is a fireside chat. That's what the old folks called when they wanted to sit you down and have a conversation with you. They called it a fireside chat. So I just want to have a fireside chat. I don't want to talk as president, CEO. I want to talk as Nelson and just have this great conversation with you about life and serving right now, especially during this time that we call Uncharted Waters and the world calls a pandemic. Uh, so I want to share that we wanted to really just help people in any way that we can, and so we became that funding information network. We help folk to get that done, and then we realized that as a funding information network, we couldn't sustain ourselves. So what we did then was decided to become a direct service program. And how we did that, we partnered with which was called SRS, but it's the Child Welfare Department. It's called the Department of Children and Families now. And we created a program called Life Strategies. And Life Strategies connected individuals with 120 hours of programming that really turned their lives all the way around. It was life skills, it was healthy relationships, it was workforce development, it was GED, all of those things combined in 120 hours, where we took a person, we assessed them, we found out where they were, created an action plan, and then helped them matriculate through that action plan. That was the idea of how we could play a little role in helping somebody get their lives back on track. In the midst of all of that, we came across Parent Cafe, and we came across Parent Cafe through connection going to St. Louis. I think it was Project Launch at the time. We went to St. Louis, and we were in this training years ago, and I got excited because this tool gave me something practical, something because we were doing fatherhood and we were doing dad's cafes every second Saturday of the month and engaging with dads. But I needed something that we could engage with not just dads, because people look at our name and they think that we're just about men, but we're not just about men. We're about women too, because we serve more women than we serve men. And so I have to explain that to individuals as we go along. And so one of the things that happened was when we got to Parent Cafe, it opened up our doors to helping a lot of people engage in a meaningful way. A meaningful way, meaning that we were able to have fun, because I'm a fun guy. I love excitement. I love having fun. And I love joking. And Sarita always tells me all the time, stay focused, get off your phone. And I'll be like, well, I just want to just, and she said, you're not in the moment if you're on your phone. I said, yes, ma'am. Okay. And I just have to put my phone down. For most of y'all that know Sarita, you have to do what she says or else. And so I just try to do my best to kind of just give her away. You got to let her have her way. Um, the Parent Cafe became a driving force for us. I mean, it was so exciting till we did something I don't think that's ever been done. Uh, we had a week long of parent cafes where we had morning sessions and evening sessions. That was the longest week of our lives. We worked day in. We had a noon session, and then we had a 6 p.m. session every day for a week, and it was amazing. We touched hundreds of individuals who are still calling now, trying to get us. They're ready for us. They said, "What? Well, lady called 2 weeks ago. I've been vaccinated, so we can go on and have another cafe." I'm like, "Well, we got to wait till some more folk get theirs together, and then we can figure out how to do it." Um, which brings me to my topic today of serving through uncharted waters. We have found ourselves in a difficult situation over the past year. Many of you all would agree that 2020 brought us some changes and threw us a curveball that we weren't ready for. And as a leader, of a nonprofit organization, I thought that we were going to die. I really did. I thought that because of this pandemic, I was watching other organizations decide to fold. I was watching businesses close. I thought that as a small nonprofit organization, I thought that we were going to be one of the number. Um, the first month of the pandemic, we were trying to figure out how to. We had just come off a high. We had our women's empowerment conference on March the 6th, I believe, was the first Saturday, and then the next week we were into a pandemic. We were trying to figure out, okay, how do we go from this high to this pandemic? And then we thought that we were not going to be able to service our people because the building that we were in at the time, we got a call from the owner and it was saying, we're removing our staff from the building, and we're going to ask that you consider closing down. And I was like, I don't want to close down because for us as a small entity, if we close down, we don't have resources that would help us to be able to move to the next level or receive any funding. So we had to figure out how to stay open because we provide a essential service. The week that they decided that they wanted us to close, I get a call from the Commissioner of Insurance. And the commissioner from Kansas Insurance said, "Hey, we need you to stay open. You're the only testing center in the country that's open right now. And we have people that are going to be working from home and they need to get their certifications." And I was like, uh, okay, we can do that, but here's my dilemma. And she intervened into the process, and we were open, and we stayed open throughout the entire pandemic. And I will tell you that there were times when I felt like um, it was going to just fall apart. I know that many of the leaders that I talked to on the phone and was conversating with during the pandemic, they were scrambling, trying to figure out, okay, how do we make it from this point where we are right now to being stable again? How do we re-engage, and how do we help our community in spite of what we were going through? And being a man of faith, and sometimes I just have to just trust and believe that God will make the way for us, because that's the only way that I'm able to do what I'm able to do in serving our community. Yes, I know that there are protocols and processes that need to be in place to help our community, but especially as an organization, and there are protocols and policies. But as an individual, I have to figure out, I have to listen and see what God is saying for me to do at that moment. Now, let me be very transparent here. I don't always do that. And I got folk on this webinar will probably amen to that. I don't always do that, and I haven't always done that. But in these last 3 years, I've been really trying to hear his voice and trying to figure out what's going on because especially as it relates to the organization, because we have come so far and dealt with so much and tried to matriculate through so many obstacles till I've been like, there have been several times when I just wanted to throw in the towel, say, okay, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm moving on. But every time I try to do that, a fresh wind comes in. And when this fresh wind comes in, I'll be like, okay, all right, I think I can hang around just a little while longer. Um, so getting back to where we were asked to stay open. We had people driving. We had people come from Chicago. We had people would come from. We had a lady drove from Detroit to take a certification test in order to keep her job. There were people from all over the country, Texas and Iowa, Nebraska. I mean, just people coming because they didn't have a place to go to get their certification. And I just thank God for the insight, uh, because all of this came through the times where we were in uncertain terms. We had, like I said in the beginning, we had this contract with DCF to do life strategies. That was our first pandemic. They decided to go a different way, which left us with a whole staff of people, left us with a whole lot of programming, left us with a whole lot of clients that we had no money to serve. But we kept going because we realized that people that we serve don't understand when we don't have money. The people that we serve don't understand that you're not feeling well today and you can't really do what it is that you said you were going to do, but we really need you to do what you said you were going to do. And so we're like, so in serving these individuals, we have to uh, be like, and I always put it like pastors. Pastors, we don't know what our pastors go through, but every Sunday they have to stand before us and give us a word that uplift us for the week. But we don't understand the struggle and the strain that they're having in their life throughout that same week. But yet we lean on them and we lean into them to have something for us. And that's the way that us as nonprofit leaders, we have the same calling too as well. People lean into us and lean into our organizations and with the expectancies of being able to get what they need when they need it, regardless to what the state of the organization is. And and if you put it out there that that's what you do, then people are looking for that to happen. So in this pandemic season, a lot of things have shifted. It has shifted personally, it has shifted financially, and it has shifted organizationally. For me, I'll be transparent, and a lot of leaders don't do this, and I wish a lot more would share it. You know, not only did I make organizational mistakes, I made personal mistakes, and personal mistakes can really affect how we lead and how we operate as an organization. I use this as an example all the time in the parent cafe when I give my opening statements and talk to people. I said, the man is the head of the household, and that's the way that it's created. All right, so don't get mad with me, ladies. It's just the way that it is. Even though we jacked up sometimes, we're still the head of the household. And as the head of the household, if we are out of order, then our wife is upset. And if our wife is upset, the kids are acting crazy. And if the kids are acting crazy, the dog is jumping all around. But I guarantee you, if you find the house and the guy and the brother and the man has got himself together, the wife is in line, the children are sitting down doing their homework, and the dog is laying at somebody's foot, sleep, because the man sets the tone for the home. And just like that, that's what leaders do. That's what we do. That's what we're called to do. And we're not all organizations are led by men, but for those that are, I find that because I am a guy and I lead this organization, I find out that when I'm in tune, things go smooth. And I'm excited about that fact. But I know that personally, we have some challenges on the inside of us that we need to get out and help and seek help too. As leaders, sometimes it's hard for us to seek help because we feel vulnerable and we don't want people to take advantage of us or trying to find that safe spot. That's the reason why I like the Parent Cafe, because we create the environment of having safe spaces for people to be able to come and share and to glean and to learn. And so that's what we need in our personal lives. So as personally, one as a leader, you can't lead where you have not been. You can't, you can't, you just can't do it. I mean, my wife says all the time that uh, people love you with the capacity that they have. A lot of times our expectancy of their capacity is greater than what they're willing to give or they have to give. And so we have to lead in that same vein. When you are personally out of whack, you're leading with a deficit. So I want to encourage you to some self-care. I want to encourage you to take care of yourself. I want to encourage you to take that time to really get to know you and figure out what's the next steps. And because I'm in the process, I'm not there yet. The movie says, are we there yet? Not quite, but we're on our way and we're working hard towards it. So I want to encourage you that. So then organizations have had to do some things financially different. During this pandemic, I've got to say that some amazing things have happened for us organizationally. Uh, you know, uh, Most organizations, we were trying to figure out how we were going to survive. We were able to actually, there were some opportunities that opened up for us during the pandemic because we were out there doing the work. And we were actually doing the work. We had just became a harvesters food pantry prior to the pandemic starting. We got things in place, and as a matter of fact, we had our first delivery during the pandemic, and that was, we set up our pantry, and we were able to serve families. And we had elderly folk who couldn't come out and get it. We were able to deliver food to them. So it was exciting for us to be able to do those things and to help people change their lives, and not only that, provide them with food that they could have to help their families and everything. So that was exciting to do that, and that gave us an avenue of being there in the midst of the uncharted waters, being there in the midst of this pandemic, and helping our families and our seniors. Um, we also had an opportunity to when we dropped food off, there were times when my worker Joe, I worked him so much, he was like, man, I just need a week to recuperate. When we dropped food off, there were some seniors that were asking, if we could get them to the doctor. And I mean, that wasn't a part of our protocol, but in this pandemic, we all had to shift and do some things that we hadn't done before. People went virtual. I mean, and I'll get to that later, but the virtual scene really crippled a lot of us in a lot of ways, and it made a lot of us think about technology in a different way. And I don't think personally that a lot is going to go differently. I think a lot of people have gotten into the groove of this technology, and I think a lot of our on hand stuff is going to stay in the virtual scene. But I want to say that it's important to me for fellowship. I got to touch. I don't know about you, but I gotta have that personal touch to be with people because I'm a people person. I mean, this is cool, but I can't see y'all. All I'm doing is talking to the screen, and it's like I don't know. I don't know whether to look here. I don't know whether to look over here. I'm just trying to figure out where y'all at. I'm trying to read the chats at the same time that I'm talking to see if somebody got something to say to help me to deliver me out of this talk or whatever. You ain't asking no questions, but I'm drowning here. I need help. No, but seriously though, I want uh, uh, to help somebody today to understand that, even though this shift is here, and it has helped us, it has helped us to grow personally in our own lives. I mean, I know for me, it gave me time to do a lot of thinking, a lot of self-reflection, and and I didn't like a lot of it. I really didn't. I was like, I didn't like a lot about me. I didn't like a lot about what was going on, especially as a leader. As a leader, people depend upon me. They depend upon they depend upon my integrity. They depend upon my decision making. They depend upon me. And if my life was not lining up with that, then it helped. It made my organization to be at a deficit.
Mhm.
And so I had to really do some soul searching to do that. And then I realized that once I did a little bit of that, it started working out financially. Because when people are able to trust the organization to say and do what they said they're going to do, I saw people taking a chance and saying, okay, let's work with them. Let's give them an opportunity. There's a funder in town that we had never had an opportunity to work with until this pandemic. When the pandemic, and they saw us out there carrying the boxes and having giving away food and giving away shoes and backpacks and making sure that our community was served in the best way that we could in the midst of the pandemic. They said, okay, well, they're doing the work. Even though we were doing work before, they were able to slow down and take a look at us because the pandemic opened up doors, especially in our Black and Brown communities. Um, that's a whole nother soapbox. Please, I'm not gonna go there, but we can talk about that another time. Uh, I'm just happy that we were able to be a blessing to the community and serving our people. So you have the personal, and then it opened up some financial doors for us throughout this. But the last thing was the organization. As an organization, we had to shift throughout this pandemic because um, the people were not coming to us like they should or could because of the restrictions that were in the community. So we had to really fix ourselves up to become this virtual uh, organization that actually moved, uh, to help out more in the community by, like I said, delivering the food, taking people to the doctor. Uh, we've went to go and drop school supplies off to people. I mean, all of those things. So organizationally, I had to take a look at, okay, are we ready for this? How do we do this? And how do I continually serve at the same level in these uncharted times in this situation? And one of the ways that we were able to do that was that people were at home now, so we had access to some more volunteers who could help us to tutor online. And most of our people were already struggling. We're not going to talk about virtual school because I know I got a bunch of parents on here and I don't want to hear that. But I know y'all, I know that virtual school thing has really drove some people to drinking real tough. I mean, that virtual school, and that's the way it went with our GED program. The GED program has I mean, our students were already struggling, trying to understand slopes and understanding reading construction and all of that. They were already having that problem, and then on top of it, you telling me I got to add it on the phone and listen to you and watch and all this. It was just all bad. But I was grateful for being able to have some extra volunteers to come in, uh, even in the shift, being able to move it. Now, the hardest part for us was we clean up every day. Now, I'm not saying that we don't clean up, but what this cleaning up after every individual leaves was something that we were not ready for. I mean, it increased our budget as it relates to buying supplies, and then trying to go find and
Mhm.
buy some supplies. Lysol was just non-existent there for a minute. So, we had to get creative and making sure that we had to ration, as the old folks say, ration. We had to ration the Lysol to make sure that people had what they need so that we could provide a safe environment. And making sure that when people come, that it was a safe environment. There were a lot of things that were going on throughout this time that caused us to really figure out what was uh, the next step for us because we were we were struggling as individuals and as a community, and serving. Um, it's me. It's my life. It's what I've done all of my life, serving my community, serving my church, serving just serving. And it has caused me grief a lot, because when I without the balance of my life, something loses when you're unbalanced. Whether it's your family, whether it's your community, or whether it's your organization. And there is a balance there. It's just finding that balance and working through that. And that's where you need help. You need others to step in and to serve as that sounding board and those boards of accountability that can help you to transition in that area. My message today has been very simple, just trying to share where we are as an organization, share where I am as an individual, and hopefully it's been a blessing to somebody else today. So now what I want to do is I want to open up the chat. I've done a lot of talking. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to read your questions. I want to read your thoughts, and I want to interact with you in these last 15 minutes that we have, 15, 20 minutes that we have. I want to kind of like hear what you're thinking. Let's go. I'm
So
looking.
Nelson, I
I'm
got a
waiting.
question. So you just had
Rita, I
some.
see you here. Come on, talk to me. Ask me
You
something.
can't. I'm
Say something.
talking. You don't hear me? Do you hear me? Wait, nobody can hear me?
I think my
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. My sound is out. Okay, my sound was out. Oh my God,
Oh,
I didn't know. Okay, I'm here now.
okay. We heard you though, but you can hear me. So I want to hear because you just had some really good news. You had something happen yesterday, and I was just thinking like how great it was that you went through, that you navigated through these uncertain waters, and now the end result is what happened for you
So the end
yesterday.
result is that yesterday, we closed on our building yesterday. So we now own the facility that I'm in today. The Made Man has his own building, and I was joking. Yay. I was joking with a friend of mine, and I was telling him, I said, I really feel good. I can go to bed tonight knowing that nobody can put us out and that the utility company is not going to cut us off because we paid the bill yesterday. So I'm like, those two things, especially for small organizations, are monumental because, organizations in Kansas City don't get payment plans. You have to pay your entire bill. And the month of February, when it got cold and snowed and all that, man, that bill jumped from, this amount to this amount, and I'm like, what in the world? So but I'm grateful that people saw our service. They saw that we were actually doing what we say we're doing, and came to the table, and the Lord allowed me to do some work. And I mean, hey, and we're grateful to what has happened. There's so many things. I mean, there's some personal things that have transpired. I think Sarita and I talked about that. That has happened. I mean, so much has happened. If and I'm not going to be preaching on you, but I'm going to say, if you're faithful, I'll use that word. If you're faithful, things can turn around for you. And because as they say in the old church, I am a living witness that it can work out.
So do you have any I know that my favorite room of the new building, although I haven't been there, is the parent cafe room. Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I can't wait to come and visit. Do
Right.
you have any other initiatives that what initiatives are you currently working on? Is Made
So
Man currently working on?
So right now, we are a Pearson View testing center where people come and get certifications for insurance, real estate, even the Secret Service exam. So all of those certifications that they can do, as well as our primary is to get their GED. We do the official GED test here. So I'm excited about that initiative. The other thing is prior to the pandemic, we were going to do a community kitchen.
Mhm.
But throughout this pandemic, we had to relook at that. So we're looking at now just having a kitchen, but doing meal prep. Like
Mhm.
um, man, I just had a food program where we have meal prep, where we prep meals and deliver them that way. So we're working on that process right now. So we're relooking at that, and then we have our food pantry. So that's what we have right now. And then we have a partner that's coming in with us that's going to be providing utility assistance, rental assistance, and things like that. And we partner with Youth Build uh, as far as GED and helping them to get their students because GED is necessary, is an essential part of of Youth Build and people getting their GED alongside the construction trade.
That's good. I was going to ask you. I know you mentioned Youth Build. Do you have any? Who are some of your other partners?
Uh, so we partner with El Centro. El Centro is our Hispanic organization. Well, it's Hispanic led organization that helps us because we have that language barrier. We partner with them. We partner with as you know, we partner with Brian down in Moberly. We kind of run parallel programs in the urban and in the rural, and kind of take a look to see how that fares out. We use the same assessment systems to see how that works out. We partner with a group here that's called Thrive. It's a youth violence prevention project. Here we partner with another group called KC United, which is a youth sports league education program as well. And so those are some of our immediate community partners. We also partner with a friend of mine has a program called the Triage Center. She does mental health Mondays and does some projects in conjunction with us. And so we work with them to kind of like, I call us gap fillers. We try to fill gaps where our families have those gaps, whether it's food, finances, and also we serve as the care portal, Wyandotte County champion. And what is that? Is that Care Portal is a project that connects churches to children and welfare. Children that are in adoption, children that are in crisis. Those churches step together and build a network around those families to make sure that they have the support, whether it's a bed, whether it's rent, whether it's a wash and dry, whatever. We ensure that those families have what they need, and we help to facilitate the relationship between the church and that family to make sure that those needs are met. So, yeah.
Can anyone in Kansas City access that, or do you have to live in certain communities in order to take part of your services or take advantage of your services?
So on the Care Portal side, Care Portal is nationwide. There are different partners all over the country that can help facilitate that deal. Anywhere in the metro area, as far as our GED program, anybody in the country can participate in that GED program. Anywhere in the country. We just got word that because it's virtual now, we can actually do the GED test virtually now. Official test. You can be at home and we can be on just like this. I'm watching you while you take the official GED test.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. I did my first one about a week ago, but I can't. So I tell them do one test at a time because I can't sit there throughout the whole test. The whole test is 7 hours, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to sit for 7 hours. So, Rita, do you think Nelson Gabriel can sit for 7 hours?
No, I have a hard time just sitting for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But you know what? Too, I think like something you said really resonated with me because I remember it made me go all the way back to last year when we also had to do that shift, right? And it was Uncharted because just prior to that, we were thinking like, I see you, Tiff. Just prior to that, we were like, oh, you know what? Cafes are only done in person. We got to do cafes in person. And then COVID hit. And in order for us to stay afloat, and to be able to continue to do the work that we do, we also had to pivot and move all our stuff online. And yes, online cafes are a little different, but still just as powerful, engaging, and you made me thinking about that made me think back to all those feelings because we were also like, what's about to happen? Like, what are we gonna do? But because of great leadership, we were able to just pop it, and we were spending like hours on hours trying to, move all of our stuff. None of us were sleeping. We were up like really late, like, the crew just it was just a crazy time, and that just you sharing all of that just sort of brought all that back for me, like, whoa, that was a pretty crazy time, and there was some uncharted waters.
Yeah.
So
I
thank
think
you
we
for that.
I think we were together what, like 3 times the year before?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it was
Yeah, in person.
Columbia, Cape Girardeau,
Yeah.
St. Louis, I think it was. I mean,
Yeah.
we would get, I mean, and
And a couple
uh,
of months later, we were shut down.
yeah,
Couple of
yeah,
months later. Yep.
that was, I mean, it was just like it was like, let's get this out the way before we get ready. Because
Right, right,
here it comes.
right. So
But somebody commented about, I think it was Yvette, talking about people
mhm,
love what the capacity they have. Yeah, and that's been very, I like that because, one, my wife gave it to me, and she gives me wisdom all the time. Um, it's the fact that, because I had expectations as an only child. I was looking for friends in all the wrong places. I guess you can say it that way. I can say it that
mhm,
way. And so, I was expecting people to love like I love. I
mm,
was expecting people to give like I give. And then I would become angry because folk would not love me as much as I thought they should, or give as much as I gave. And so, with that expectancy, I was like, I was driving myself crazy and others. And so when she said it, it resonated with me with the fact that you have to accept people where they are. You have to accept them doing what they do. And you have a choice then
mhm,
to either stay or leave, with this
mhm,
situation. And because people
mhm.
can only give you what they got.
Yeah,
You know, I you,
definitely.
I can't put a half a tank of gas in the car and expect to make the St. to St. to St. Louis or Chicago.
Right, right,
There's
right.
got to be more in the tank.
Real talk.
There got to
Real
be more in
talk.
the tank.
So
We have a
Tiffany Murphy has her hand raised, and it looks like she's coming to join us.
Oh my
Hey,
God! Hey
Tiff.
Phil.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to let you know, Nelson, this is a really, really good webinar because as a trainer for Be Strong Families, um, I felt like last year, what Sarita was saying last year, I felt like we had to be on point. Everybody was closed down and we were like so needed. We had to be needed by everybody. I had parents because I work with birth
Mhm,
parents, foster parents, and youth in care. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get certificates? How are we going to make it to court?
Right.
So, as you were talking, I was thinking about myself as a trainer that I go to parent cafes in order for me to continue to train people to do parent cafes because I we're so many people depend on us to make this happen till I had to really really do a lot of self-care with myself and get myself right,
Right.
just so my parents can get all that they need from me. So I had to get all what I needed from a parent cafe. So listening to you in this webinar, I totally resonated with almost everything that you said in my professional life and in my personal life. And I thank you for bringing it to fruition where I can actually see it myself like, oh my God, I'm not the only person that's going through this. And I hear what he's saying. And I just want to tell you, congratulations on your building. Oh my
Thank you. Thank you.
God.
I can't wait.
You
I can't
know,
wait to bring y'all here. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a time.
yeah,
A
I
time.
I can't wait till we get a chance to come down to the Lou and Kansas City and back traveling so we can see what we have done with this past year so we can actually see it in existence.
Yeah.
So again, I am so proud of you
Thank
and
you
that's
so
all
much.
I have, Sarita.
Thank you so much. Thank
thanks,
you so much.
Tiff.
Mhm.
That is so good. I'm honored because we did when we shifted to the parent cafe um virtually. It was tough in the beginning because it was new, but it became exciting, and so we started having them often, like once a month. And
Mhm,
then one month we had two of them, And so, you know, we're trying our best, but there's nothing. And I want to go on record. I'm hoping we're recording this. I want to go on record stating there's nothing like being in that room with those tables and watching folk share and have a good time and understanding the method of the parent cafe. You know, sometimes it was hard for me because Sarita always tell me keep the fidelity, and I, you know, because sometimes I want to go off the rail and I have to come back in. And the thing that we always said was trust the process.
Mhm.
The process works. And I mean, you know, and even in my life, I'm learning now to trust the process. I want to that I feel like I'm getting emotional right now because I really am, especially after hearing Tiffany. I'm getting emotional at the fact that you got to trust the process, not just in this organization, but in your personal life. Just trust the process because the process works. It's a lot of work. Um, Honesty, transparency. I was good at making it happen and I was good at making it go, but I'm going to be better and great now because I'm trusting the process and I'm willing to do the work.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. So guys, so if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat or you can simply raise your hand, or any comments because we love to hear your
Yeah.
thoughts
Yeah.
on how you maybe served through some uncharted territories or waters. Maybe you had similar experience like us. Laughing at Tiffany talking about. I remember everybody was saying like, "Oh, we're gonna be have this 2 weeks, off," because we thought the pandemic was gonna be like. We shut everything down for a couple of weeks, and then we're able to come back to life. And people were chilling at home, and we were like working around the clock, and it didn't calm down until maybe just recently for us, where we were able to move everything online. And so those were crazy, crazy times. But in that too, like we gained, I know for us, well, for me, I'm just gonna say for me, um, deeper connections with my colleagues because man, we had to hold each other down. There were a lot of tears some nights. There was a lot of like everything, frustration and frustration and anger, just crying together, laughing together. It was a lot of that just to make it through this last year, to be able to be where we are today, right?
Right, right,
In our right minds.
right.
And with our jobs. And so and so many people struggle with that, and there was so much loss, and so many people lost jobs or and found better jobs,
Yeah.
but it was just like you said, it was part of the process, and it was something we just had to go through. So Tamara said, I can relate to so much of what has been talked about. I'm a parent educator with parents as teachers, and we had to turn on a dime and start delivering our program virtually as well. But we found our footing and have been successful in serving families.
Congratulations.
Yeah, good stuff.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Congratulations. And then somebody else said something. Let me scroll up. Oh, Paul said, I'm grateful we've been busy. Yeah, me
Right.
too, Paul. Me too. Me too. And then we too had I remember Tam also said, be showing families in these webinars to played a big part in helping me keep my head on straight.
Yeah.
Yay! Thank you,
Yeah.
Tam.
That support
Thank
system,
you.
that support system is well needed. I mean, you got to have a support system in order to make it for real. I mean, I used to be the type of guy that said that, when I ate, everybody ate. When I went to bed, everybody went to bed because it was all about me. And I found out real quickly that everybody needs somebody. I mean, you can say that all the time, but that is so wrong and it's so far from the truth. You cannot make it by yourself. You can struggle by yourself, but you can't make it by yourself.
That's so true. Let's say that again, preacher. Preacher,
Yeah.
say
Wait
it
a minute,
again,
hold on. I'm trying my best to hold it together because I feel a hum coming in my throat.
You can struggle by yourself, but you can't make it by
Yes,
yourself.
you can
That's
struggle
so
by yourself,
real.
but you can't make it by yourself. That's for real.
That's so real. Yeah, we and I remember too, like the celebration. I remember when we got approved for our loan to help keep us afloat, and we were gonna lose positions. And man, that thing came through. We were so, I mean, I was so excited. I think most people were, but I was so excited because we didn't want to lose people, we didn't want to lose
Oh,
positions. And we were just like, yes, yes, we can keep going. And so when I think back over the last year, I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for everything, all the lessons that we learned in that, and the
yes,
relationships that got deeper in that.
yes,
And the fact for us, like you mentioned the GED and being able to do it from anywhere. And then with us, the same thing happened. Like, before cafes, we were just do it in one little, whatever our city was, and only have those people come. And then now to be able to meet people from all over the country attending these cafes is like, oh, this is so cool. Like, it's the coolest thing ever.
right.
The coolest thing ever. So grateful. So very grateful. So if we don't have any other questions or comments, then I guess we can keep going.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. This has been wonderful.
So as you guys know, and of course, as I'm going through this, if you have any thoughts or comments and you want to drop them in the chat, you can still do that. So just a reminder that our webinars will continue. Tomorrow is leading through difficult times. Isn't that interesting? Nelson did serving through Uncharted Waters, and tomorrow Kathy is doing leading through difficult times. And so it's great if you guys come on. I hope that she shared some of the stuff that some of her tips for doing, because I think she did a great job in doing that last year. Monday, March 29th, we'll have practical tips for helping families with home management during and after pandemic. Tuesday, March 30th, we'll have barring basics. Wednesday, we're going to talk about prevention and community support sections. And then Thursday, with Alexandra and Kathy, we're going to do when is it race and when is it something else? Please do me a favor and just go ahead and complete the poll for today. Appreciate you doing that. And then, Paul, I guess we can go to the next slide. This week, as you know, we always like to ask you to help us to amplify something great that's happening in your life, in your community, something, right? How to achieve a more perfect union. Use the hashtag. If you could hashtag something today, if you could amplify something about today's conversation that resonated with you, that that really clicked with you, if you could do me a favor and drop your hashtag amplify in the chat right now, and make sure you amplify something positive and post it to your social media and tag at Be Strong Families. So any hashtag amplifies today? Do you guys want to drop in chat as we close out our session for today? And if you'd like to know more about Made Men, Paul has dropped it in the chat for us. Thank you. 10% today. I need to hashtag amplify naps, but also hashtag amplify keep on keeping on. Thanks, Tam. Thank you so much. Yeah, and if you'd like to know more about Made Men, please go visit the website. Don't forget to register for tomorrow's webinars. We love to have you there. You guys are the reason why we keep moving. Ariel said people love the capacity they have, leave or stay, but you have to accept where people are. Thanks, Ariel. Hashtag amplify, I am strong. Nelson, yes, with that brand new building over there in Kansas City, Kansas. Whoa, wins in both business and in both your professional and personal life. Keep going, Nelson. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Tiffany said amplify peering cafes. Yes.
That's right.
Don't forget to get your BSF mask today. Express your values. We got the logos and with the hashtag, with our logo and our hashtag amplify is on there. Those masks literally do that. They cover up your entire face. All right, Paul, next slide, please. And if you or your colleagues would like to host a webinar, series webinars with us in the summer of 2021, please go ahead and contact Kathy. You guys know the deal. And I just wanted to give a a great shout out and say thank you for joining us today. Thank you for Nelson for sharing Made Men with us and how you chartered through, you served through Uncharted Waters. And shout out to Paul for helping us today with our tech. And then we have some comments coming in. Someone said, wore my mask, my BSF mask while traveling this weekend. Definitely my favorite mask that I've seen or worn. Thank you, Ariel. Great. I got a hashtag amplify. We're all in this together. And Tam said, yes, woohoo, parent cafes. We're still trying to get more people attending, but we're doing it. Tam, please complete the poll in the cafe community of practice, because I just put one up and we're going to do a live on that conversation and encourage you guys to, for people to share their successes and how they're doing that. So if you complete the poll, you'll help us to get that scheduled sooner than later. All right. So thanks, guys. Thanks for being here today. And I hope you enjoyed today's webinar, and we will see you on tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. Thank you, Nelson.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to be closing it out a little earlier than usual. So bestrongfamilies.org, you can find out more information and also sign up for upcoming webinars and other trainings. So thanks, everybody, and we will see you later.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Paul.